There's an ancient saying, when we're young, we do everything to make others happy. When we grow older, we realize that wise men often do the opposite. Welcome to today's video, where we'll discuss 9 things smart men should avoid in their relationships with women. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors, once said that a man's biggest mistakes aren't what he does wrong, but what he tries to do when he shouldn't. And often, the smarter someone is, the more prone they are to making these mistakes. In this short video, I'll share Stoic wisdom, lessons that I and many other men had to learn the hard way. I'm sure that many of you watching have found yourselves in the situations we're about to discuss, but before we jump into it, make sure to leave a comment. If you've ever made one of these mistakes, I believe your story could help other men avoid the same pitfalls. 1. Keep your past private. The first principle we'll discuss is about safeguarding your past. Nietzsche once said, "Old thoughts come back to haunt us like ghosts of past choices, and nowhere is this more evident than in relationships." Let me share something important with you. Smart men often make the mistake of thinking that sharing their past shows emotional maturity. They open up about their darkest moments, failures, and vulnerabilities, believing it will strengthen the bond. But here's what they don't realize. Once you share something, you can't take it back. I've seen countless men reveal their deepest insecurities, past relationship traumas, or personal struggles, only to have these very things used against them later. As the Stoics taught us, not everything needs to be said, and not every truth should be shared. Think of your past as a valuable treasure. You don't display it to everyone who shows interest, you only share it with those who have earned your trust over time. The harsh truth is, what you reveal in a moment of closeness can become ammunition during a moment of anger. So what's the solution? Be selective with your past. Share gradually, and share wisely. Most importantly, share only what serves a purpose in your current relationship. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not becoming like your enemy. In this case, the best protection is to avoid giving away your power through premature disclosure. Remember, mystery isn't just alluring, it's protective. Keep your past private, not because you're hiding it, but because you're guarding what's precious. Your story is yours to tell, but only to those who have earned the right to hear it. 2. Face your fear of being alone. Let's address something most men won't admit, the fear of being alone. Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom," but here's the uncomfortable truth. Many men stay in toxic relationships simply because they fear being alone. Think about it, how many times have you seen a friend, or even yourself, stay with the wrong person just because the idea of being alone felt worse? It's like staying in a burning house because you're afraid of the cold outside. As the Stoics taught us, sometimes our fear of emptiness is more harmful than the emptiness itself. I remember working with successful businessmen, CEOs, and leaders, men who could command boardrooms but couldn't handle a Friday night alone. They'd rather endure drama, disrespect, even emotional abuse than face their fear of solitude. But here's what they don't realize. When you fear being alone, you give away your power to anyone willing to keep you company. The Stoic philosophers understood something profound about this. They knew that a man who can't be alone will never truly know if he's with someone out of love or out of fear. You can't make clear decisions about relationships when you're running from loneliness. So, what's the solution? Start with small steps, learn to enjoy your own company, find peace in solitude. Here's the paradox, once you become comfortable being alone, you'll naturally attract people who add value to your life, not just those who fill a void. Remember, being alone doesn't mean being lonely, it means being strong enough to wait for what you deserve, rather than accepting what you're afraid to lose. 3. Manage your time wisely. Let's discuss something that might hit close to home, wasting your most precious resource, time, Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said something powerful. It's not that we have little time to live, but that we waste so much of it, and nowhere is this more evident than in relationships. Think about how many hours you've spent overthinking text messages, waiting for calls that never came, or trying to decipher what she really meant. Think about the weekends you've wasted trying to please someone who wasn't even sure about you. As Marcus Aurelius said, time is like a river, once it passes, it's gone forever. I've seen too many men spend their prime years chasing people who view them as a backup plan. They put their goals on hold, cancel plans with friends, skip gym sessions, all for someone who wouldn't do the same for them. The harsh truth? While you're making someone else a priority, they might be making you an option. The Stoics understood something crucial about time. It's the only resource you can never get back. You can always make more money, build new relationships, or create new opportunities. But time? Once it's gone forever. So what's the solution? Start treating your time like the valuable asset it is. Before you invest hours, days, or months in someone, ask yourself, are they investing the same in you? Are you building a connection, or simply filling an emotional void? Remember, a wise man doesn't just manage his money well, he manages his time even better, because in the end, we're not just giving away hours when we waste time on the wrong person, we're giving away pieces of our life. 4. Be proud of your achievements. Here's a paradox many smart men face: the more they achieve, the more they hesitate to own their success in relationships. Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. But let's be real, there's a difference between humility and hiding your light. I've seen successful men downplay their achievements, hide their ambitions, and even pretend to be less accomplished, all because they're afraid of appearing arrogant or intimidating. They'll build companies, win awards, reach milestones, but in relationships, they'll act like none of it matters. Why? Because somewhere along the way, they learned that being too successful might scare people away. Listen carefully, if your achievements make someone uncomfortable, that's not your problem to fix. As Marcus Aurelius taught us, the best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that. Don't dim your light just because it might blind those who are used to darkness. Here's the thing, being proud of your achievements doesn't mean bragging. It means acknowledging the work you've put in, the obstacles you've overcome, and the goals you're still chasing. A strong woman doesn't want a man who hides his success. She wants someone who can inspire her to reach for her own dreams. So what's the solution? Own your journey. Share your victories. Not to impress, but to inspire. Because the right person won't feel threatened by your success. They'll be excited to be part of your next chapter. Remember, your achievements are part of who you are. They're not just lines on a resume, they're chapters in your story. Anyone who wants to be part of your life should be ready to read the whole book, not just the easy parts. 5. Protect your mental health. Let's talk about something that men rarely discuss: protecting your inner peace in relationships. Stoics understood a fundamental truth: the mind is your fortress, but too many men let their mental health crumble in the name of making others happy. You know what's interesting? We'll go to the gym to protect our physical health, work hard to protect our financial health, but when it comes to mental health, we'll let someone else's drama tear it apart. As Marcus Aurelius warned, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. I've seen brilliant men turn into anxious wrecks, checking their phones every 5 minutes, overthinking every conversation, losing sleep over someone else's mood swings. They'll tell themselves it's normal, that it's just what relationships are like. But here's the truth: if your relationship is constantly disrupting your peace of mind, it's not love, it's emotional warfare. The Stoics taught us something profound. Your mental peace isn't negotiable. It's not something you sacrifice for a relationship, because if you lose your inner peace, what exactly are you bringing to the relationship anyway? A stressed, anxious, depleted version of yourself. So what's the solution? Set boundaries. Learn to say no. Walk away from drama and, most importantly, understand that someone who truly cares about you will never make you choose between their happiness and your mental health. Remember, maintaining your mental health isn't selfish, it's necessary because, at the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't build a healthy relationship from an unhealthy mind. 6. Be true to yourself. Let's tackle something crucial, the art of staying true to yourself in relationships. You know, Albert Chu said something powerful about this. The moment you start changing who you are to please someone else is the moment you start losing yourself. Think about how many times you've said yes when you wanted to say no. How many times have you pretended to like something you hated, agreed with opinions you didn't believe in, or acted differently just to keep someone happy? As the Stoics taught us, when we try to be someone we're not, we suffer twice, once from the effort and once from the failure. I've seen strong, principled men completely abandon their values, change their goals, even distance themselves from friends and family, all to fit someone else's ideal. They become excellent actors, playing a role they think their partner wants to see. But here's the brutal truth: the moment you start performing instead of being authentic, you've already lost. The real irony. When you try to be what someone else wants, you become less attractive, not more, because authenticity has a power that no performance can match. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid for staying true to what you believe. So what's the solution? Start saying no. Start expressing your real opinions. Start standing firm in your values. Yes, some people might not like it, some might even walk away. But isn't it better to be alone for being who you are than to be accepted for being someone you're not? Remember, the right person won't need you to change who you are. They'll challenge you to become a better version of yourself, not a different person altogether. 7. Don't sacrifice your goals for others. Let's talk about something that ruins too many good men: sacrificing their dreams and ambitions for a relationship. Seneca put it perfectly when he said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to waste their time chasing what they can't have." I've watched men put their careers on hold, abandon business opportunities, give up on their passions, all to fit into someone else's life plan. They tell themselves it's compromise, that it's what love requires. But here's the cold truth: when you give up your path for someone else's, you're not just sacrificing goals, you're sacrificing your essence. You know what's devastating? When these men wake up years later, filled with resentment, wondering where their dreams went, they look in the mirror and barely recognize themselves. As Marcus Aurelius warned, look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. The real problem isn't just about giving up opportunities, it's about losing respect, both self-respect and the respect of your partner. Because let's be honest, no one truly admires someone who abandons their purpose for love. They might appreciate the sacrifice initially, but eventually they'll wonder what happened to the ambitious man they were first attracted to. So what's the solution? Keep your dreams alive, pursue your goals with passion. Include your partner in your journey if they want to join, but don't derail your path for theirs. A real partnership enhances both people's journeys. It doesn't require one person to abandon theirs. Remember, the right person will encourage your ambitions, not compete with them. They'll be proud of your goals, not threatened by them. Because true love adds to your life, it doesn't subtract from your dreams. 8. Prioritize family and friends. Let's discuss a critical mistake I see smart men make: sacrificing their core relationships for a romantic partner. Plato was onto something when he said the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is, of all things, most shameful and vile, and nothing shows this more than when men abandon their support system for a relationship. I've seen it countless times. Men slowly disconnecting from their friends, missing family events, canceling long-standing traditions, all to please their partner. They think they're investing in their relationship, but what they're really doing is burning bridges they might desperately need later. As the Stoics taught us, no man is an island, but every man needs his tribe. Here's what's tragic. By the time these men realize their mistake, they often find themselves isolated, their friends have moved on, family relationships have grown distant, and if the romantic relationship fails, they're left truly alone. The very support system they needed was the one they abandoned. You want to know something interesting? The strongest relationships I've seen are those where both partners maintain healthy connections outside the relationship. Because when you depend on one person for all your emotional needs, you're not just setting yourself up for disappointment, you're putting an impossible burden on them. So what's the solution? Maintain your friendships, keep your family close, make time for the people who were there before this relationship and who will be there after if it ends. A partner who tries to isolate you from your support system isn't protecting your relationship, they're controlling your life. Remember, your close relationships are like a safety net. You might not think you need them when things are going well, but they're invaluable when things get tough. Don't wait until you're falling to realize you've cut away your own safety net. 9. Avoid excessive dependency. Finally, let's highlight the most important rule: never fall into the trap of being overly dependent. Marcus Aurelius once shared a powerful insight: you control your mind, not external circumstances. Understand this, and you'll discover your true strength. Now, let me give you an example. Too often, I see smart, capable men becoming overly reliant on a woman's approval, attention, or presence. They constantly check their phones, rearrange their schedules to match hers, and grow anxious if she doesn't reply right away. Their mood swings with her texts. Their happiness depends on her smile. As the Stoics teach, when you rely on someone else for your peace of mind, you become a slave to their actions. The more dependent you are, the less appealing you seem. It's a classic example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your fear of losing them actually creates the very circumstances that push them away. Because let's be honest, no one wants to be someone's entire world. It's too much pressure, too much responsibility. The hard truth: when you make someone your everything, you risk becoming nothing to them. You lose the confident, self-assured man they were drawn to and turn into a shadow of yourself, always chasing validation and reassurance. So, what's the solution? Build a life so rich and fulfilling that a relationship becomes an enhancement, not a necessity. Pursue your own passions, protect your personal space, and understand that true strength comes from within, not from seeking approval. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Not on someone else's presence, not on their approval, but on the stability and strength you cultivate within yourself. As we conclude our discussion on these 9 essential principles from Stoic philosophy, let's keep one thing in mind: these aren't just rules for relationships, they're timeless guidelines for preserving your dignity, strength, and authenticity as a man. From safeguarding your past to maintaining your independence, each principle we've explored draws from ancient wisdom that remains incredibly relevant today. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. These principles aren't about manipulating or controlling relationships, they're about creating a solid foundation within yourself, so any relationship you enter adds value to your life rather than defining it. The Stoics understood a profound truth: true strength in relationships doesn't come from what we do, but from what we choose not to do. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with other men who might benefit from hearing this message. Leave a comment below and let us know which principle stood out the most to you. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Remember, following these principles doesn't make you cold or emotionless, it makes you wise. Because in the end, the best relationships aren't built on sacrifice or dependency, but on mutual respect and individual strength. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.